Kalila and Dimna, the Lion and the Hare. It was said that there was a lion who dominated over a land abundant with water and vegetation. The beasts that inhabited the land could not benefit from the plentiful pastures available to them for grazing as a result of their fear of the lion. One day, the animals grouped together and approached the lion in order to come to a compromise with him. "O lion, you attack us by surprise and wreak havoc amongst the animals that graze this land. Hunting also requires you to exert effort and exhaust yourself. We have therefore devised a system that would be advantageous to you and would provide us with a sense of security at the same time. If you can guarantee us that you will not attack us unpredictably and frighten us, every day for your dinner we will send over one of us for you to eat," the animals proposed. The lion agreed, and from that day onwards the animals proceeded to fulfill their side of the deal, sending off an animal to the lion every day to be eaten for his dinner. There came a day when it was the turn of one of the hares to be offered to the lion. But this hare had an idea that could rid the animals of the lion. She pleaded with the other animals. "I have one last request before you take me to the lion. This request will not harm you and will end our trouble with the lion once and for all," she implored them. "What is your request?" the animals asked with curiosity. "That you order whoever it is who will be escorting me to the lion to release me before arriving at the lion's lair, thus giving me an opportunity to proceed slowly and arrive after his dinner time," the rabbit explained. "Yes, sure, we can grant you this request," the animals reassured her. And so it was that the hare slowly made her way to the lion's lair, arriving long after his dinner time had passed. Upon seeing the hare, the lion got up and approached her. "What brings you here so late? From where have you come?" he asked. "O lion, I am a messenger from the animals. I was sent with a hare to deliver to you. However, we were ambushed by another lion on our way here and he took the hare for himself. I protested against his action, explaining to him that you dominate this land. I told him not to take the hare that the animals had sent, as this would anger you. He scoffed at what I said and told me that he is more deserving of this land than you. He insulted and cursed you, taking away the hare that we had intended for you." The lion flew into a rage, threw his head back in fury and roared. "Take me to this lion immediately," he said, the anger palpable in his voice and shaking limbs. He was consumed with rage and could think only of immediate revenge. The hare took the lion to a deep waterhole and peered over the edge. "There he is," she exclaimed. "He even has your hare with him. Come, look." The lion rushed up to the edge of the waterhole. Upon seeing his reflection with the hare beside him, without thinking and totally consumed with rage, he jumped into the waterhole to attack his own reflection. With that, the lion drowned, and from then on, the animals of that land lived on peacefully and free from fear. Victory is not always the result of physical strength and prowess. Be open-minded and don't underestimate others based on your perception of their influence and what you presume they can or can't contribute. Sometimes the solutions may come from the sources that you least expected. With calm, patient, careful calculation and planning, a force stronger than your own can be defeated. From an Islamic perspective, in the strictest context of a just military confrontation, trickery can be used. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stated that war is deception. In the Battle of the Trench, where the Muslims were vastly outnumbered and in a situation where they were surrounded by enemies from the outside, whilst also facing treachery from within, The Prophet, peace be upon him, told a newly converted Muslim to use the fact that his conversion was not yet known as an opportunity to sow seeds of mistrust amongst the different military factions allied against the Muslims. It is in this context that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that war is deception. And indeed, this trickery did play a part in demotivating the enemies camped outside of Medina. They mistrusted one another and ultimately disbanded. Deception in such contexts is still within limits and cannot involve treachery or the violation of any covenants. Another noticeable point was how anger can overpower the rational parts of our brains, causing us to act in ways that we would most likely come to regret. The lion probably had a large, fragile ego. He was very likely arrogant, with an overinflated, grandiose, unstable self-image that, if challenged in any way, would result in an extreme, uncontrollable reaction. Consequently, he was overcome with a blinding rage that resulted in him jumping into the waterhole. Without thinking rationally, he acted in haste and drowned as a result. Stop to think before you take any action in response to something that triggers you emotionally. Slow down and don't act on impulse. In a Sahih Hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, explained to us that strength is not measured by an individual's wrestling ability. The strong individual is the one who can control themselves when angry. Could it be that the information that has reached you is untrue or has been relayed in an inaccurate way? Have you processed the information incorrectly, linking the action to a much more negative, extreme interpretation rather than what the actual motivation could have been? Could this negative, extreme interpretation be your own insecurities that you project onto the actions of others? Allah commanded us in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 12, to avoid making too many assumptions, for some assumptions are sinful. In a Sahih Hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, stated, "Don't ever engage in negative assumptions, for indeed negative assumptions are the most untrue of narratives." The topic of anger from an Islamic perspective is a broad one and will be covered in later productions, insha'Allah. These were a few learning points derived by reflecting on this short tale. Are there any other nuggets of wisdom concealed within this story? The purpose of the Al-Magalla project is to contribute towards Islamic revival in the Muslim Ummah. We aim to do so through the medium of storytelling. To make this project sustainable, full-time dedication is required. The creative process involved is both complex and time-consuming. If you believe in this revivalist vision and would like to support our mission, we have set up an Islamic art gallery, Roa Art, which you can patronize to help us keep this effort a full-time one. You can also support us through subscription to the Al-Magalla Patreon channel. Further details can be found in the video and channel descriptions. Jazakumullahu khairah.